It's no longer news that Elon Musk left OpenAI in 2018 due to some disagreement with the line OpenAI was taking. But there are others that think the reason has to do with the growing stakes that Tesla was starting to have in the AI race, and Elon wouldn't have wanted a conflict of interest since he's largely involved in Tesla. And Elon has been so concerned about safety in AI from day one that he was among the prominent people that signed a petition earlier this year asking that any advancement in AI be shifted for 6 months. So far, nothing has come from that petition. It only seemed the race heated up right after it made rounds on the internet. But Elon did something quite significant right after he left OpenAI. He had hinted in an interview with Tucker Carlson earlier this year that he'll be looking at creating a truth GPT. There's been no explicit information on the move until this month, when they launched a website for xAI and social media handle on Twitter. If you would remember, I did talk about this Truth GPT concept when it first came out, and the speculation then was that Elon will likely integrate the company with the X Corp, which he switched Twitter to, but it seems we were wrong about that. The information on the company's website clearly states that xAI is a different independent entity from X Corp. On Friday, 14th of July, Elon hosted a space on Twitter where he gave insight into what we should be expecting from the company. And from what he says, it seems that xAI will be taking a whole new approach to AI development, with some details that they seem to have access to which others don't. It's quite interesting when you look at the portfolio of the team Elon has assembled to lead the company. It comprises people who have worked with Microsoft, OpenAI, DeepMind, Google, and some other really interesting entities. So it sure looks like we'll have some amazing new talents challenging the status quo. And make no mistake, the people on this team also have a record for working on significant projects like the ChatGPT 3.5, AlphaCode, AlphaStar, Minerva, and even ChatGPT 4. This simply goes to show that the team is one to be reckoned with. You'll also find that the company's website clearly states that although they won't be a part of X Corp, they actually have plans on working side by side with Tesla and X Corp on the project. And earlier, Elon has been revealed to have gone to Nvidia to gain access to some GPUs, which will most likely be dedicated to this project. Now that you have some background on how the whole company came to be in the first place and the main structures of the company, I know the next line of inquiry will be to discover what xAI will be working on in the first place. Well, that's what Elon went into in this Twitter space he hosted. But firstly, let me take you back to the company's website, where they did present a summary on what their goals will be. And you'll notice that once you open the website, you're greeted by a few words that say, "Understand the universe." And the company goal that follows, put simply, the goal of xAI is to understand the true nature of the universe. And that's basically all you'll find on that website on this, which is understandable given that the company has just launched and it will be a while before we see any major updates, which they said they'll add as soon as they come. The first idea Elon presented about Truth GPT seems a lot like what he was proposing for Twitter, which looked at providing a platform where everyone is allowed to air different views without getting flagged for holding views that seem to be out of popular opinion. Plus, he has this major drive to develop AI in the best way possible in order to mitigate the risk that will likely follow. In the early days of ChatGPT, many users had accused OpenAI of training their systems to be somehow politically correct, and had designed it to block certain ideas and concepts. And at the time, this was a really big debate that many knew would influence a lot of things. For the meantime, xAI hasn't really named any project that they'll be working on, so I'll just tag it Truth GPT for the time being. And basically, from what Elon said in the Twitter space, Truth GPT will be some kind of truth-seeking AI tool that will be allowed to perform solely on facts rather than training data. The reinforcement learning training method that's been adopted by most AI companies at the moment depends largely on the data generated by humans, which we know are bound to have some biases embedded in them. And experts have exercised fear about what consequences will be if we allow these AI systems to maintain these biases. One thing we know now is that tech giants like OpenAI are already projecting the possibility of reaching artificial general intelligence within the decade. And this means that we'll be looking at losing significant control over the development of AI very soon. In which case, it will depend on the existing models to grow using whatever they have, and there's no telling what'll happen if they buy into the bias. So Truth GPT will be a truth-seeking platform that will seek to provide that balance that many have been longing for ever since the beginning of the AI race. This will mean a significant shift in the status quo and might just be the thing that will place xAI on the map, considering that they're already kinda late to the race. Although he didn't go into details, which is understandable given that they need an edge over all the other companies, Elon did reveal that they've come across a remarkable breakthrough from Tesla. And you could sense the surprise in his voice when he said this because according to him, it's something so simple that he couldn't imagine anyone could have missed it. And he emphasized that we might be overly complicating issues that have very simple approaches. And if you actually consider this, Elon might have a point after all, with all the hammering on companies slowing down a bit to take in what they're actually doing. If actually there's something very simple that they've been missing all this while, how sure are we that there isn't more? Considering what's at stake, every process should be duly taken note of and monitored to make sure that no loophole is being left, which could cost us everything in the end. As it relates to AI safety, Elon said something during the talk on Twitter Space that suggests that he's tilting more towards Sam Altman's idea on AI regulation, which does not move for full control of the space, but just a regulatory body that will overlook the activities of these firms. And the term that Elon used for this was having a referee of some sort to carry out these duties. One thing that's clear from the speech is that we're going to be getting something that's radically different from what we're used to. And Elon makes several comments that the mission of xAI will be to find truths about our existence, which connects to some of the most popular universal questions that we're yet to get answers to, such as finding out if we're truly alone in the universe. Nothing is really clear at this point as xAI hasn't made any public moves yet, but since Elon is already committed to space explorations that seek to find universal truths, I'm thinking whatever this company will be working on will be built to help these missions that will help us learn more about the universe. Aside from the recently launched James Webb Telescope, which has been in fact very instrumental in unraveling some mysteries, some of which challenge whatever truth we think we know about our existence, we've not really gained much insight into how the universe works. We seem to still be very much dependent on certain hypotheses, which might turn out to be outright wrong in the long run. And it seems the team at xAI will be leveraging the resources made available by artificial intelligence to help reach places and provide details that we've been so far incapable of. And most likely this will be done side by side with developing models that will help us learn more accurate details on the day-to-day details people will seek from other models like ChatGPT or Bard. An interesting part of this whole thing will be to see how whatever they will be developing will perform on certain benchmark tests, which will be targeted at learning about its efficiency. We keep our fingers crossed on this. If there's one thing we've learned from the AI race, it's been that bigger isn't always better. This has been proven for a fact, as smaller models like Orca seem to be performing way better than the bigger models. And the amazing thing with these smaller models is that you can get them to run on even smaller devices and can work offline. In line with that, Elon talks about the quality of codes that are used in making these models, citing that it's easier to work with the quality short codes than long, complex ones that will end up complicating issues. As I said earlier, no one can tell you for sure what some of these statements mean for now, and we might have to wait till the company starts to roll out what they have before we're able to know where they stand and follow up accordingly. I'd like to know what you think about these concepts that Elon Musk talked about, especially if you had time to follow the space. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll let you in on any new updates in the coming days.